1, and we should be live. TessaDee, thanks so much for joining me. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Oh, no complaints. Everything's going pretty well. You're in Texas, is that right?
I am in Michigan. I'm a
You're in
Texan
Michigan.
living in the Great North.
That's far out.
Lost in Michigan, yes.
Okay, that's quite interesting. How long have you been in Michigan for?
We have been here for, my goodness, 8 years,
Wow.
maybe. I'm gonna have to take my shoes off to figure that one out.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, but actually, I'm from Windsor. So,
How are you? I have
yeah.
a good friend that lives in
Oh,
Windsor.
do you? Oh.
I do.
Hopefully, nobody I know.
I was his host mother for almost 6 years.
What's that? What's a host mother? Never heard of that before.
He was on our hockey team, our SPHL hockey team. My husband and I took care of anywhere from 3 to 8 hockey players each season. And of course, they would come and go. But this one I had for about 5 seasons, and I still get Mother's Day calls from him every Mother's Day. And now, having been to his wedding and watched him have a baby, and um, it's one of those things that's made a lifelong friend. So,
Is he a
yeah.
Spitfires player?
Nope, he was
No.
a Fire Ants player for the Fayetteville Fire Ants.
I've never heard of Fire Ants before.
Hockey
What?
player. He's from Windsor. His last name is Sitch.
It doesn't ring a bell. I'm surprised. I thought I knew every last name from that city. So interesting.
Well, y'all probably didn't run in the same circles just knowing him.
Yeah, that's a
He
good
was a
point.
problem child.
Oh, I see. Everyone out of Windsor is a problem child that I remember. So it's just a part of who we are, you know?
Oh, he's a good kid. He just a little misunderstood, I guess.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, 6 years ago you moved to Michigan. It's kind of an interesting place to move, I would say.
Well, my mother and my father live here, and we wanted to be just a little bit closer to them in their golden years. So, me being the oldest, this is where I'm at. So, we will see what the future brings. I expect we'll move back to my hometown at some point.
Yeah. So you go back to Texas. Everyone speaks highly of Texas, although I don't know Detroit, or I don't know if you're that familiar with Detroit. I've always been curious though, like what do people in Michigan think of the Canadians on the other side of the border?
There are cousins in the attic.
Is that how it is?
Um,
It's a good describer.
my grandfather's French Canadian, and
Oh wow.
my mom's family comes from Canada. So I still have relatives in Canada, and it's just our neighbors over the other side of the bridge.
That's good. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that. I always wonder if you got French Canadian in you, that's like real Canadian. Like I really don't. I don't even have that much, to be honest. I have like a smidgen. So you might be more Canadian than I am. Surprising enough.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
Do you go to Detroit often?
We try not to. That's where we go when we fly. We fly in and out of Detroit. We have spent some time there though for different conferences and that kind of thing. So we enjoy Detroit. We enjoy trying the different foods and just kind of roaming around and seeing what all there is. We have stumbled at times into places we probably wouldn't want to be lost in,
Yeah.
but overall, we do enjoy Detroit. Um, yeah, we go and hang out sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
We go
that's.
to the Ford Museum's one of our favorites.
Oh yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
No, that's the actually absolute best part of the city. It's been surprising though. I've noticed ever since the bankruptcy happened in Detroit that they seem to be growing up. If that's the right
Yeah.
word, they're just developing the downtown a lot more.
Well, they're coming back, and they've. It seems like I don't know much about Detroit and their culture and stuff, but they seem to be making a comeback somewhat. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, slow and steady wins the race. Although it's scary because everything that's going on in the U.S. right now with COVID and all the protests with everything. I fear for Detroit because man, Detroit has such a long history of the riots, like the
Yeah.
'67 riot that happened there. I mean, that destroyed the. You say that destroyed the city, but in my opinion, it destroyed the whole area. It's like someone just dropped a nuclear bomb there, and all the fallout just kind of I don't know, did what it did, I guess. But there's lots of history there, and I think it's quite
Yeah,
interesting.
there is. We've enjoyed anywhere that we go. We try to learn the history about it. We like to look at the historical places. We like to immerse ourselves, within that environment. And Detroit's not any different. We just don't spend a lot of time downstate. It's about a 4 to 5 hour drive, depending on traffic. I've gotten really used to small town living.
Hmm.
Not that I always like it, but everybody knows your business or won't stay out of your business. I'm not sure which way to put that, but um, I mean, just having two stoplights has its advantages, but having the closest Home Depot 45 minutes away is kind of a big disadvantage, especially when you're remodeling. Um, so going to town is actually an hour and a half drive down to Saginaw. So
Oh, Saginaw. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
I have a family that lives in Petoskey, and I
Oh
have some
yeah.
extended family that lives in Sault Ste. Marie. So
Yeah.
every time I usually go to Ontario once a year, and I usually spend half of that time in either Michigan or Ohio. So yeah, it's kind of a home away from home, I suppose, for me.
Michigan or Ohio, that's a big, I mean, I'm not one for rivals, but man, these people here take that seriously.
What? I've never heard of this. Tell me, what
You haven't heard of the
rivalry?
Michigan Ohio
I've never
rivals?
heard of
Oh my
that.
goodness.
No.
Oh, I don't know where it comes from, but for Texas, it's Texas Oklahoma, the rivals, the football, OU and Texas, but it's the same thing here with Michigan and Ohio. I guess it's just a thing.
Weird.
You'll have to ask your family members in Ohio about about the Michigan Ohio rivals.
I don't know. I mean, they're not born there. Like they just live there. They don't know much about the surrounding area. It's just due to the economic situation in Michigan. They took advantage of that, really. So they just kind of live there
Yeah.
now.
Well, that's what we did.
Yeah.
When Hubs got out of the military, we didn't have any place we really wanted to go specifically. We were up here on vacation seeing the parents, and we could get a lot for our money house-wise. It was
Yeah.
just amazing what we could get for our money. And we had looked actually all over the US for some place we wanted to go, not knowing if the kids were going to stay in Texas or if they were going to, follow us wherever we went. Now they stayed in Texas, so um, I mean, we got a lot for our money here. The house was on the market for 350 a year before we bought. We bought it for like 170.
Oh, that's a good deal. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of house for the money. You can't hardly beat that. Took advantage of that, the down, the turn down in the economy.
Yeah, it definitely had its good and bad things for sure. I think wasn't there like property in downtown Detroit selling for like $1?
Yep.
I think there was a couple of those really, and I guess they took a lot of those and they turned them into like micro homes now, or I don't know what you call that, but like the shipping container homes, pretty much.
Oh, the tiny homes,
Yeah,
small
tiny
living, or
homes. Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's a
yeah. I
great
think they
use.
probably raised some of them and then rehabbed some of them. I know you can probably still get some really cheap, but I'm not real aware of what the housing market is in the depressed areas of Detroit.
Well, I remember what it was like in the '90s, and it was horrifying. It was like a war zone. And
Really?
craziest thing ever. But I vividly remember it being like 92 or 93 or something like that. And my my parents left their car unlocked,
Oh
and
no.
the doors were actually open. They forgot to close the doors entirely, so they were open, and they were parked out there for like 3 hours, and absolutely nothing happened with the car. It's like it seemed like too easy to steal from or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, usually they do get parked and they do get broken into, and it happens so commonly to them that they don't even think twice about it anymore. Sad, but
It's a trap.
it's a trap.
It's a bait car.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's so weird just growing up with that culture too, because I now expect that everywhere. Basically, I'm always think that someone's gonna break in or mug me or something. So for
Well, it's
better or
better to
for
be
worse.
aware than caught unaware.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't think about that anymore, but no, that's a very good point. Yeah. Um yeah, well that's wild. Well, I'm really glad to hear that you came from Michigan, because I think the stuff I think about a lot. I think about how COVID's going to affect it, but sometimes I think about if Detroit kind of grew up, or it became what it was because the automotive industry. It was like the pinnacle of the automotive industry at the time. 50s and 60s, I think. I don't know that for sure, whatever the date was, but sometimes I wonder if like what's happening in Detroit now is ultimately what'll happen with like San Francisco. Where you get the top tier people in a specific industry in a specific city, and like this is just the outcome with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with the motor industry, the car industry. We've done the tours a couple of times with the Ford Motor Company and watched their videos. And my grandfather used to work for Ford Motor Company at the Rogue plant, and way back in the day. I mean, way back in the day. And for my mom's side of the family, it was definitely a part of their life. But I was raised in Texas and never lived up here in the north before. This is my first time to be up north, so it's a big change catching up with the roots on this side of the family.
How do you like winter?
Um, um, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
All
I've heard
right.
I've heard from Texans that it's not a desirable time of the year in Michigan. Yeah.
No, not really. Not really. I mean, it's trading cowboy boots for snow boots. I'll
Yeah.
take my cowboy boots.
Yeah. I never wore cowboy boots before. I have to try them one of these days, but I live in snow boots. I don't actually,
See,
but
I kind of hunker down in the winter and just kind of hibernate.
yeah, I think a lot of us do that though. That's the Canadian culture right there. I
Yeah,
think
I wasn't used to that. It was a big change for me, and it's taken me a while to get used to that. But you do what you do.
it's true. Yeah, but it's wild. Like you have to think about how that affects like the human brain. Like either you're in a southern climate and you always have this luxury of the freedom of just going outside whenever you want. Like that's really cool. You could walk around naked if you want to, no big deal. But like in the northern areas, you have to think about it. It's just another obstacle, I suppose. Just wonder if like maybe there's more innovation in the north compared to the south, or vice versa, or something like that.
Um, like the heat in the South, 110 degrees. Wearing pantyhose, walking to the bank, making deposits. It was what we did. It was not anything out of the ordinary. So it was all I knew, I guess. And the winters there were also all that I knew. It would get cold, but we didn't have feet of snow. We might get some flurries here and there, but no big deal. Um, Up here, uh, when people get cabin fever, I know what they mean now. When the doctor says you're low on vitamin D, is like, okay, I understand why now because you don't leave the house all winter.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go out and play in the snow, but that's all right. I'll skip it.
Yeah. So, but you see yourself going back again to Texas someday.
Yeah, we'll definitely go back south.
Yeah. How do you pay attention to what SpaceX is doing in Boca Chica on Boca Chica Beach right now?
Not really. I
Not
do
really.
keep up a little bit with the launches. Oscoda, where we're living right now, has been selected as the horizontal space launch for. Um, I forgot what they're calling it. Marquette was just selected for the vertical space launch, and we were selected for the horizontal launch. And it's actually refrigerator sized. What am I trying to think of? Satellites that they're launching,
Cool.
and
Kind
we're
of a
really excited
smaller.
about it. But we got have a couple hurdles to still jump through with the FAA and other stuff like that. So that's kind of been where we're at with space stuff is local.
That's cool. I follow that stuff quite a bit, and it makes. I just wonder if a lot of people within Texas know about what's going on there. Texas is a big place, so maybe it's not in the forefront.
Well, I'm from North Texas, and Houston, of course, is 6 hours away. So it's kind of being unattached from the rest of Texas somewhat, but When it affects one, it affects all.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um, yeah, well, I don't know. I think it's really cool. I'm probably planning on going to Texas next year because I'd like to see a rocket launch there. I think that'd be really cool. And the first time I went to Texas was for CitizenCon, actually. So that was my first foray into Texas. What a nice place. It's strange though seeing that for the first time because I've been to Alberta more times than Texas. Quite a few times I've been to Alberta. If you're familiar with Alberta, it's the Texas version in Canada. But I gotta say, I think that the Texan culture is stronger in Alberta than it is in Texas. I can't really explain that. I don't know. It's the strangest
They
thing.
both are big cattle, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Alberta's big cattle
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
So they have similar, um, I don't want to say culture, but when cattle industry, well, and for Texas, it's oil industry as well as Canada also having its oil industry. The two combined, it definitely creates a similar culture.
I
You
was
know,
out.
we use horses and dogs and to work the ranches, and you get dirty, and it's a different way of life than a lot of the urban parts of Texas and parts of the U.S.
Yeah, they all use horses here. I knew a couple of ranchers, and they're all big horse people. And they would I don't exactly know how being a cowboy is, but they herd the cows between different pastures, and I guess the most effective way to do that is to use a horse. So
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that in the winter though. That's a big mystery. They got snow horses or something.
Well, winter's a whole different ball game for me and what I know about farms and ranching and stuff. It's different. We didn't have the snow like they have up in Canada. Um, but you have to realize that horses and cows pasture together often, and as opposed to using four wheelers, motorized vehicles to try to herd an animal, the horse is actually the best, along with dogs.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Um, what was it like growing up in the southern United States?
Um, that's all I knew. It was a lot different than it is today for kids, for sure. We came home when the street lights came on, and we ran about the neighborhood and ran around on our bikes, and it was never a thought that we might get in trouble or disappear or anything like that. We just did what kids do, and these days you kind of have to keep everybody close to home where no people are at all times. And growing up in the South was running barefoot all summer long, and hauling watermelons with Grandpa, and it was just fun times. And we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the video games. We had TV with 3 channels, and we didn't stay in the house. We were always outside, always.
Do you think that the fear that people have nowadays raising their kids is justified? Do you think they have something to be afraid of nowadays compared to the past?
Um, yes and no. Yes, because we are more vulnerable for everybody knowing where everybody's at one time, at any given time, just about. Um, I think I think it makes predators easier to stalk. On the other hand, we've always had those people, and I don't know if it will ever be any different. The world is kind of balanced. We have good and bad. We have to have good and bad to balance. It's not desirable, but that's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that you said predator. That's a good word to use. Because is it the predator that you're afraid of, or is it like just kids stepping on? You're talking about walking around barefoot. People don't want to do that now because there could be glass or anything. There could be syringes. I don't know, stuff on the ground. So your parents weren't worried about that, but the next generation apparently is.
I was smart enough not to step on glass. There were times that I did get cuts, stickers, cactuses. I mean, kids get hurt. We heal and go on, and it's you just can't live in fear. I just couldn't live my life in fear. My kids, I didn't raise them. I sent them out. I didn't raise them. I raised them. I sent them out to play in the mud puddles and hosed them off with the water hose when they were done, and weren't afraid to get dirty. Weren't afraid to work. You know, I don't know if it was the culture I was raised in, if it was the area I was raised in, or what, but I see my grandkids doing the same thing that I did. They're running around barefoot and they're riding their bikes, and they're not allowed to go in the street to ride their bikes, but, they live that carefree life like we had.
As a Canadian, I would say, well, just I guess as a foreigner in the United States, I feel like there's a lot of fear in the United States. There's a lot of people who live in fear in the United States. Is that just maybe a way of the culture?
Mm, I don't know, I think it's individuals. I think it may be where they're being raised at as well. I wasn't raised in a big urban jungle. I've been to New York City, and I wouldn't wanna live there. I just can't imagine living there. It's, living on top of each other, literally, without parks. I mean, there are some parks, Central Park, but, like, the schools don't have the football stadiums. They don't have the green track that we had for, running track and stuff. I just can't imagine not having those things readily. Each neighborhood we ever were in had parks at the end of the streets, or, um, each school has its playground, and it's got dirt, and it's got grass, and it's got, just nature, where, New York City, it's everybody's just on top of each other. I can't imagine living or growing up in that kind of environment.
Yeah, it's true. Um, I wonder. Well, I meet people through Star Citizen that live in the South, and a lot of them seem quite paranoid about the latest situation. A lot of things that are going on. A lot of them who are already reclusive, they've become more introverted, and
Yeah.
stockpiling things, and lots of fear. And I don't know. It's kind of strange as well because it's like in America, there's a lot of weapon firearms that are everyone kind of owns a firearm, and I'm like, well, okay, well, that's interesting because there's a lot of fear that goes on, but there's a lot of these firearms. You'd think that the firearms would generate some safety or make people feel a bit more comfortable.
Well, we had in high school, we had the, pickup trucks with the rifle racks in the back,
Oh
a lot
yeah.
sitting right next to their lassos, and it was just the way it was. We didn't have school shootings. We didn't have, um, any of that, Um, I learned to shoot as a young child. I learned on a, Smith& and Wesson 357 was the first gun I ever shot, and then shotguns, 22s. It was just a way to teach, safety, and, it was a way to take care of things when you work with animals at times, and it wasn't a good thing or a bad thing. It was just another tool that was afforded us. The gun thing, I have no issues with guns. It's the people that use them that make them dangerous.
What do you think has changed since you were young in using or just introducing these things? Like what changed with you?
Um, the tolerance of people, intolerance,
Mm.
everybody thinking that we have to think the same way, and not respecting another person's point of view. And, um, you know, I don't always agree with my husband. I would hate living with somebody exactly like me. That would be so boring. And, just having other people that will challenge my mind, or maybe see, offer me a different point of view. I may change how I see something if somebody gives me a different way of looking at it that I hadn't thought of. And it seems like so many people are intolerant, or are not willing to step outside of their comfort zone to see how somebody else might see something. And not necessarily to agree with them, but just to allow them to have their own thoughts on something, or, think differently.
would you would you think that like the American Civil War is still kind of ongoing? Do you think there's a divide between the country like that?
I think the media would like us to have a divide, but I think there's so many of us that are like in the middle, that see good on both sides, but also realize that there's, like, again, we have a balance. There's bad on both sides. There's so many things that we could do differently, but they can't agree on which way is the best way to do it. Sometimes it seems like everybody's talking the same way, but in different languages, so we can't see that we're really saying the same things. Um, there's always gonna be divide. There's always gonna be a divide because we do think differently, but the divide comes where we don't allow others to have their point of view and try to push our own on somebody else. My point of view is not necessarily right, it's just mine.
Words of wisdom. Yep, I agree. That's good. That's good. So you're a grandmother. Is that right? That statement?
My grandmother, my grandpa,
No,
my grandma?
you are a grandmother. You were a
I am a
grandmother. That's
grandmother. I
amazing. That's
am.
amazing. Yes.
I
So
have 2 beautiful boys and a stepdaughter. Very proud of all 3 of them.
that's cool. So what do your kids think about you being a Twitch streamer for this science fiction video game?
They're not surprised at all.
How do you not be surprised about that?
Um, I don't know. They just know that I do what I wanna do and they get on and watch me. The grandkids see me. Um, my oldest said yesterday him and his cousins were watching me eat while I was streaming, and, it's another way to keep connected, actually. It's nice when we live far apart to be able to see each other, even if it's not, in body.
Are you considering well, did they play Star Citizen right now? Your kids?
My oldest does not. He lives out in the country, so he doesn't have internet necessarily like we've got. He's got a limited bandwidth, and so Star Citizen is not quite what he can play. And the other one is not picked it up yet. He's very busy. He doesn't get time to play video games very often.
So you're really the lone wolf when it comes to being the gamer in the family.
Yeah, the oldest, he plays games. He just can't play Star Citizen. His computer won't handle it right now.
Okay.
And the other one does play, but not as often as he would like to. He's got the little kids.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What games did you play before start? Like, what was your whole career of video games? Like, what game did you start with, and what kind of progressed you to where you are today?
Atari was the first one.
Yeah.
Yep, where you could program it. Was it Atari? I think it was Atari. You could program the different games into it.
Well, Atari had cartridges. That was your
It had
software
the
that you would load in.
cartridges. Maybe it was a Commodore. Was it a Commodore that you could
Commodore, yeah, for sure.
program?
Yeah, for sure.
That
Yeah,
must have been what it was we started with then.
that's cool. Started
But
in
then,
there.
I school, then the family, and then the kids. And the kids loved playing when they were little. Let's see, they loved Zelda, Spyro were their very first games they played, and then they went up from there. I think they had every Nintendo box that ever was invented.
So, did you play games with them while they were growing up?
Absolutely.
That's interesting. It's interesting because I always find that whenever I play video games with somebody, you can really see their personality kind of shine through a little bit. You ever notice that with your kids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. I love playing with the kids.
Yeah. Like you got to teach them life lessons because you encounter a problem and in one aspect you'd be like your kid might get frustrated and be like, "Hey, do this problem for me, solve this thing because you're older and wiser." But you got to be like, "No, you have to solve this on your own." You know what I mean?
Well, see, I do this even though they're grown adults. They come to me and say, "Hey, mom, what about this?" And I don't give them an answer. I'll walk them through so they come up with their own answer. And that has been something I have had to learn is how to word questions around for a way for them to come up with their own answers. I can't give them answers in this life. Nobody gave me answers.
Yeah.
And I would like to be able to say, "Ooh, you don't want to date her. Oh, that's not the girl for you." I can't do that. They've got to make this life their own, make their own trouble, make their own, fall down on their own, pick themselves up. But I'll be there every step of the way. but I don't give advice unless they ask, and even then, I will walk around the answer until they can come to a conclusion on their own. Whether I agree with their answer or not, it doesn't matter. I just want them to come to their own conclusions, make their own decisions.
So they always counsel gamers?
Um, Console gamers, you said?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, they still are.
That's wild. So how did you come across Star Citizen then?
My hubs.
Your hubs? Oh, your hubs play
Yep,
Star Citizen.
yep. And then I
Oh.
started last year modding for one of the streamers, and then I ended up modding for quite a few of the streamers, and they all kind of said, "Hey, you should really start playing." And Hubs is like, "You really should try this. I think you'll enjoy it." And I already knew. I mean, I could walk people through the cave missions and stuff without even playing because I'd watched it so much. And that's how I met Dead Horse, one of the streamers, is he was lost in a cave, and I was able to help him get out of the cave. And I mean, he didn't even hadn't even made affiliate yet, and now he's doing really good. But I just started playing, and it was my game. I fell in love.
Okay, those caves are nothing to joke about. Wait till there's what are they called again? The crabs? The is it the
Crabs.
the pyro crabs? The crabs we're supposed to get for pyro? They're
We
supposed to
call
go
him
into
dinner,
caves. Yeah, well, if once you're seeing them, they're 20 feet tall,
right?
towering over top of you. You might think otherwise. I don't know. Get a rocket launcher, I guess. What did you used to do before you got into Star Citizen?
Oh my goodness. I worked for the state of Texas for 10 years for the Department of Public Safety. Um, that's where one of their biggest members are the state troopers, Texas state troopers. And I was a paralegal for a number of years, and then we had our own business for quite a number of years, which we've just sold in the last few years. So I'm at home, and I have time for Star Citizen.
Okay. You didn't mention anything about the USCG auxiliarist. As a Canadian,
U.S.
I don't know anything about military stuff, so I'd like to know what that means.
United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. I'm
Oh,
a United States Coast Guard auxiliarist. So we do boating safety, we do patrols, we do search and rescue. There's so many parts of the auxiliary that it's a part of Homeland Security, and we have the same training to be boat crew as the active duty Coast Guard, and it is very involved. It takes a lot of training, and it's something that we enjoy very much. Both my husband and I, he's retired Air Force, and we've been doing this for I want to say it's been almost 9 years now. We've been in the auxiliary.
oh, so you're still doing this. This is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So do you get to go on a boat?
Oh yeah. Our boat is considered a vessel. We use it for um, our patrols. It's equipped with lights. It's equipped with everything that's on a Coast Guard um, vessel. It's We use it for training to help the Coast Guard train for their boat tows for different scenarios, that kind of thing. And it's something that I really enjoy. I could live on a boat, quite frankly. I could sell everything today and live on a boat and be probably almost happy.
How does that work? Does the Coast Guard just call you up once a month and say, "Hey, you got to do this patrol for us"?
Um, we will do patrols as called, but we also do them as ordered, and we also will do them for training. We have to have so many training hours a year, so we have the mandatory training, but then we have like Fourth of July patrols. We are not law enforcement, so we do not give out tickets. We do more of boating safety, and then when we have the Coast Guard crews with us, I can crew on their boats as well. I'm boat crew certified, so that means that I've passed all the training to be on a Coast Guard vessel as well as, um, well, on a Coast Guard vessel. And where was I going with that? Oh, if we come across somebody that's been drinking and boating or something like that, then we will radio it in, and they can come and do the necessary testing for that, or any issue tickets or whatever they're going to do. So it's something that's important. They do use us a lot. In the winter, we have snow patrol, which we go and do the ice patrols. We keep track of the number of shanties that are on the ice, how thick the ice is, make sure that there's a way for them to get airboats and rescue equipment onto the ice if they need to do an ice rescue. We've done search and rescue on land as well, not just in the water. So it kind of gets involved, keeps my mind active.
So if you encounter people who are drinking and boating, you gotta like call up the cops, and the cops come out and arrest them, or is it the Coast Guard that does that?
The Coast Guard.
Wow. And these are all lakes, or is this an ocean that you work on?
No, we're on the Great Lakes,
Okay. Is that Lake Michigan or Lake
Lake
Erie?
Huron.
Lake Huron.
Yep,
Okay.
it's across the
Okay.
street from us.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
See, the Coast Guard has jurisdiction up to the first dam along the river that runs through our town.
Okay. I had no idea the Coast Guard was even up there. I don't think I've ever seen a Coast Guard boat in Lake Huron before. Well, any of
We have
those lakes.
icebreakers.
Really?
Yep.
There's icebreakers.
Yeah,
Huh.
you can ask when you go to Sault Ste. Marie, just south of Sault Ste. Marie, or I'm thinking not Sault Ste. Marie, Sheboygan, which is south of Mackinac, has an icebreaker there. Sometimes it's up in Mackinac.
Okay. Good place for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Actually, you make me think now. I'm like, oh, all those the shipping lines are always
Hmm.
open throughout the year, and I guess I
No,
always thought it was. Oh, they're not open.
no, they close. Usually it's in January. They'll close them down.
Okay. Is that
You're talking about the locks.
uh well, I think about like Lake St. Clair and that whole run, cuz I mean I thought there was a lot of boats that pick up in like the Sarnia area. There's a whole chemical valley there. So I figured they all load up there and then they go down the St. Lawrence Seaway. But the thing about Lake St. Clair, it's only like 20 feet deep. It's a really shallow lake, so it freezes solid. Uh
Yeah.
and I thought that those lanes were always open for the ships to pass through, but maybe not. Maybe yeah. Hmm.
No, they close them down, and the locks are closed through a portion of months. They'll do repairs and they'll do whatever they can during that time. Of course, with water being frozen, they're kind of limited as well.
So you like fishing in boats? That's fun.
I do. I love to fish.
Has it always been on the lakes, or did you used to go in the Caribbean, the Caribbean, the
The Gulf
Texas,
of Mexico.
Gulf of Mexico? That's it. Yeah.
No, that's too far south for me.
Okay. Because
We
you're in.
fish the local lakes from North Texas, southern Oklahoma. I have family in Oklahoma, and we'd fish whatever creek we could find or whatever cattle tank we could find. We'd grab some crawdads and go fishing.
It must be nice going in Lake Huron because Lake Huron's beautiful. It's like blue
It is
water.
beautiful.
Yeah.
We have one of the nicest beaches here. It's all sand. It's so pretty here. It's cold.
It's cold. It's so
I
cold.
need warm water.
It's so cold. Yeah, I've been up to Tobermory. I went just like swimming up there, camping and stuff. And it looks like the Caribbean. Like the water is just crystal blue, but it's ice cold. So
Yeah, we've had the boat, of course, out on Lake Huron, and we could see the bottom 40 feet down. It's very clear.
yeah, it's phenomenal. Um, what is uh what is the 4.6s and the Diamond J Ranch? What is
My
that?
grandfather used to work on those.
What are they?
They're ranches.
What,
The Four Sixes Ranch is a big ranch in West Texas, and the Diamond J was also West Texas. He was a cowhand. He was raised in Knox County, Texas. and they migrated back and forth between Knox County and Hobbs, New Mexico, and worked whatever jobs they could get. Um, Ranch hands is a hard job. It's a hard, hot, dirty job.
So at these ranches, the whole point was basically growing bulls, growing cows, so that we could
Growing
eat them.
cows, yeah.
Yeah.
Put a little water on them. They get big. They make chocolate milk.
Okay. And like, what time frame would this have been? Like the 1800s or something? Early
Yeah.
1900s?
Well, let's see. My dad's family came from the Trail of Tears in Tennessee to Arkansas. Two brothers married two Indian ladies, women, to Arkansas. The women were not allowed to cross the creek into town. They had to stay on the other side of the creek.
Wow.
So they went from Arkansas to Texas. They settled part of Parker County, Texas, and then they moved more west. And that's my dad's side of the family. Of course, mom's side is French Canadian, and they're all Northerners. So it's kind of a mix. It's a wonder the two families ever met. Um, my dad met mom up here in the Air Force, and he was a Southern boy and met him a Northern girl, and here I sit.
Huh. It's so cool to have a legacy like that. I find that the history in the United States is very rich, and there's a lot
It,
of just tales of people migrating west, and that just seems so neat. I don't know.
well, we lived in North Carolina for a short time, being stationed at Fort Bragg, and I was amazed by the history there. I was just overwhelmed. I mean, the houses I was seeing were from the 1700s.
Wow.
The graveyards from the 1700s, the memorials, the battlefields. We didn't have that in Texas. We studied Texas history. We studied the Spanish American War. We studied, the Indians, the cowboys, the formation of Texas. We had American history, but what I read, I was actually being able to see. And I fell in love with history. I fell in love with it at that point. Before, it was just something I read in a book. But once I got to the East Coast and just saw how rich the history was, it was a different door was opened.
Well, there's just so much of it too, wherever you go, and whenever I tour the United States, I'm always just there's so much history, and that's kind of why I ask about like, is the Civil War still going on? Because how much of that history is still getting pushed into 2020? You know?
Um, I don't know. The past is the past. We learn from it. We move forward. My family was dirt poor. They came to the U.S. as indentured slaves, and like I said, they married Indian women, and that wasn't a glorious life at all. The family tree has a few spoons in it. It's hard, when you go back and try to research stuff, and they have three kids named Mary because they kept naming the kid Mary, and the kid kept dying.
Ew.
Um, it's not a glorious past that we have, but it's certainly a progressive past. We're supposed to learn from mistakes and from things that happened, and um, you can't go back and undo something. You just have to take the good and move forward. Leave the bad stuff in the past and learn from it.
Well, you're a heck of a leader, and you got a good head on your shoulders because you're here on Twitch now streaming Star Citizen. So how
I
long?
know. Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought you came all that way? Those people who migrated west did so you could stream on Star Citizen or on Twitch. How
Love
long
this
have
game.
how long have you been streaming for?
Since February.
Since February. Wow, that's amazing. Well, you're doing pretty good, I'd say. How you liking it?
I love it. It's I get nervous before every stream. I get nervous. I get a little bit of anxiety and just think, what if nobody comes to watch? But I still have a good time. I I just love that I can be me. What you see is what you see on stream, off stream, with friends, without friends. This is just me, and I love that I can just be myself. Some things just happen in chat that I find hilariously funny, and I think, "Are these people really gonna understand my sense of humor?" Eh, some do, some don't, just like in real life.
Yep, that's true. Well, you stream 8 hours, or it seems like most of your streams seem to be about 8 hours in duration, which is amazing. That's a lot of work. It's especially hard in Star Citizen.
It is.
What's
But I would be doing it anyway.
That's true. Yep.
I'd be playing it anyway, so
Yep.
might as well stream it.
That's how I started. Actually, it's like I see all these really cool things in the game, but nobody to share it with. And if you go on Twitch, you can share it with everybody. It's magical.
Well, that's what I said. Who would want to see me do mining? But it's like that's where I go for my happy place. That's where I go let my mind unwind. And I have thoroughly enjoyed finding the org and being able to have people to play with or just to talk to while I'm doing stuff. Even if we're doing different things, if somebody is at home working and they just want somebody to talk to while they're pounding away on their keyboard, I enjoy that. I enjoy the friends that I've made and going from being a lone wolf player to having, people that I can play with. And I really enjoy that. And then add that to teaching people how to play. I just remember being that new person and how it was so hard to figure out what to do. And so if I can pass along a little bit of knowledge, I just take any chance I can at that. And hopefully somebody else can pass it along to somebody else and pay it forward, having somebody show them the ropes.
Definitely. What's your schedule? Like, when do you usually stream?
I try to stream starting at 2, but it seems like every time I try to start at 2, I have, the computer, the sound, or something. So I usually get started about 3. If I don't have an appointment that day, then I'll start about 3 o'clock. And I've kind of had trouble learning what my schedule needs to be. Um, I can, I, my schedule's open. I can choose any schedule I want. I don't have an outside job to work around, but trying to figure out what works best. A split stream, I really don't know. Which would be best.
Well, what is it, like Monday to Friday or all
I try to do,
7 days?
let's see, Monday through Thursday. Fridays we have fracturing Fridays at 3, and then formation Fridays at 10. And then I try to take Saturday and Sundays off. Sometimes I'll stream on Sunday if I really don't have anything going on. And then I start again on Monday through Thursday.
Okay. Well, you do a great job. I like your stream. I know I don't ever come by and talk in chat, but I always watch clips. I do
Oh,
I do that for a lot of people just because my work, I can't work and watch streams. It's too distracting.
yeah.
So I just do that. But I always like going back and watching more stuff. One thing I really liked about your stream was or at least the ones that I had watched this week, classical guitar. I think that's
Oh,
wonderful.
yeah.
So beautiful. And like I have a
I like
thing.
a
Hmm? Sorry.
I like acoustical guitar. I like Spanish guitar. Um, I, I like all kinds of music. There's some that I don't care too much for, but I do like all kinds of music.
And I have this thing on my stream where it's like absolutely no country music. Like if
Oh,
anybody puts country music on, they're out of here. They get the
what's
boot.
wrong with
I
you?
know, right? And then you're like full on country music, and it's like, oh, okay. But it's what you play isn't really country music. It's really
Right,
like good stuff.
right.
So it's good. I could definitely learn a lot from you because I'd like more of that music, but I wouldn't consider it country. So I think that my perception on country music is wrong.
It is wrong. But because there's so many things that are lumped into country music that's
Mm.
not what I don't know how to explain it. There's country pop, there's country classic, there's the old country. And my grandma used to play fiddle for some of the greats when they would, because like they would come to town and they wouldn't have like a band like we have. So, they would put together a real quick band. And my grandma always played fiddle. And I can't even give you the names, but um, it was some of the greats of the old country. And I was just amazed when, Dad said, "Yeah, your grandma played fiddle. She played it for these people." And I was just like, "Wow, I had no idea. I just thought she was a cranky old lady."
That's pretty cool.
Um, but I mean, country covers kind of a lot of things. And for me, the guitar is just one part of a country music. But I love classical guitar. I like acoustical guitar, Spanish guitar. Um, I don't know. I like piano music too. I
Mm,
like violins. Oh, I love the violin.
mm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
me too. Yeah. Well,
I enjoy the classical music on your stream.
oh,
I
thank
just
you.
find music. I like the background music to be relaxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and people come by my stream and say not a lot of people do this, and I do see that you do it. So I am glad that more than just me do it. I don't want to be the only person who does this. So it's kind of sad actually that there's not a lot of people on Twitch that are just willing to just relax. You know?
Yeah. Well, I have the streamers that I enjoy watching that are high energy
Yeah.
PvP. And it's I can't PvP. I suck at it. If they take away mining and cargo hauling, I'm gonna have to become a pirate somehow, and I don't know how I'd ever do that. I'm just not that way.
Yeah. And Twitch is. I kind of find Twitch is like a family. You know, and whenever I hang out there, I always see familiar faces and diverse personalities. And it's like there's a certain expression of humanity that is encapsulated on Twitch, and I absolutely love and I'm attached to. So it's cool that you're here. Um,
Thank you.
and I'm not sure if this perception of Twitch is just because I'm like an antisocial person or I don't have a lot of social connections in real life. So it's like this is how I get my social quota of the day. But um, I don't know. I want to say that it's cool that you're here. So thank you for doing what you do. What's the biggest challenge that you've had with streaming since you've started?
Um, I guess assuming that everybody is nice,
Hmm. Interesting.
but that's just I mean, even off stream, that's my nature, is just to assume the best and then find out that I'm wrong. Um, I hear people talking that there's Twitch drama going on and stuff. I wouldn't have a clue. I just do what I do. I don't get in other people's stuff, and I have streamers that I like to watch, and I don't get into the whole back end of the different streamers world. I guess I don't get into that. It's not part of what I think is fun.
Yeah. Sadly, it's like a human condition. It's like the politics. They follow us everywhere we seem to go, for better and for worse. So.
Well, and that's another thing too is I would like to make partner. I would like to make partner. Would it happen? Will it happen? I don't know. I have no idea. But I would like to think that I will always be just me and not fall into that trap of having, thinking you're too big for your britches. But they still say that.
Sure.
Um, I'm just going to be me, and that's all I have. I don't have theatrics. I don't have, some of these people have such huge setups and just it's a production.
Oh
I
yeah.
just want to be me.
Yeah. Would you ever go to a Citizen Con?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I can't wait. Yeah. So you're planning to go to LA this year?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's a shame you missed the Austin one. It was pretty good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Every excuse I can have to go to Texas, eat barbecue, and have Mexican food,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I wish I didn't get Mexican food when I was there. I'm so disappointed. I also didn't get a burger either because I hear Whataburger is this very special thing.
It's okay.
It's well, Disco speaks very highly of it, so it can't be that bad.
Well, to me, it's a burger. I
Mm.
mean, Whataburger. It's a classic Texas icon. Whether it's that great, it is. It's good.
When you got into streaming, you decided to do streaming. Did you have like a role model? Was somebody inspiring to you, and you're like, I'm just gonna be like that person, or I'm gonna not be like that
Um,
person?
I don't know because I modded for different people who had different. They still have different styles, and I think the ones that I were more familiar with, they were just normal people just streaming. Um, some are very successful at it, and others were they just were low key and just didn't really grow much. Um, but I've always when we talked about me doing this, my whole thing was I'm just going to just be me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not everybody's, what everybody wants to watch, but I'm just going to do me. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm still going to enjoy it.
When you were modding, did you see a lot of failures potentially, and now you
Yeah.
kind of took lessons from those?
Well, I think life gets in the way sometimes. You're a young guy and, you know, families come along, kids come along, COVID comes along. Sometimes life gets in the way and changes, puts a little bump in the road and people will go away and then they'll try to come back and some of them will be successful at that and some will just keep on going. So it's like anything else, people come and go. So what makes one person successful over another, I have no idea. I don't know the answers to that. And I have people asking, hey, can you help me? And really, it'd be the same thing I tell my kids. You just have to do what you think is best, and I can give you a couple pointers just here and there of what my setup is, but I can't do it for you.
Yeah. If you could kind of go back and recommend things to younger Tessa from February, what would you go back and say as far as lessons
Um,
learned?
for me, it'd be spend a little more time on yourself instead of everybody around you. That I'm only as good as I can be if I'm healthy enough for everybody. If that makes sense? To take care of myself a little better.
Mm.
That'd be one of the things I'd definitely tell younger Tess.
Well, you do a lot of giveaways, and that's no small thing. And you're very like, you kind of got a sales approach to it too. Like, you know, you manage your chat, but at the same time you keep the pulse of next giveaway, next giveaway. So that's not an easy thing to adopt. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but did you
I
like?
didn't know that.
Well, no, but not a lot of people do that. That's the thing. Well, I mean, lots of people do, but I don't know, not so many. I'd say 50% of the streamers that I see actually push the giveaways that much.
I
Yeah.
just know how exciting it is to win something. I've never won anything. And if I could give something to everybody, I would, but we can't do that. But I will tell you, I did have two winners this time. The first one I drew, I thought I think that's one of the bots that we have on the list. And then so I went ahead and drew another name. And then I started thinking, you know what, a bot's not going to enter a giveaway. They're not going to actually do their tickets. Um, so I started searching and searching, and I had a couple of the mods search for me, and we couldn't find this person anywhere. So um, the next morning, I got a message from him that says, "Hey, I changed my name. Here's the proof."
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh goodness," because I had an extra package just in case that happened. If that makes sense, I've tried to go through every scenario that could ever happen with the giveaway, just so I have a backup plan. And so I gave him his package, and I was, thanks for reaching out because I searched everywhere. And he sent me the proof that he had changed his name, and it was all good.
Did you find it very difficult to just manage all the software and the hardware as with
I,
streaming?
I'm still finding it difficult. What works one day doesn't work the next. Just overnight, all of a sudden, Stream Deck decides it's done. It's not going to work halfway through a stream. I'm pushing the button. It's like, oh, we're not doing a raffle because it's not working.
Hmm.
Um, Never mind Star Citizen crapping out or the internet going out unexpectedly or oh my goodness. There's a lot more to it than I think a lot of people realize. And I have just a basic setup. I don't have anything fancy. I've got 3 monitors. I have a nice setup for a machine. I have a Logitech camera. So I don't have just this huge setup and I have this much trouble. So it's definitely been a learning curve for me.
I think it gets easier, like anything, but I find that I don't know. Like I just got the whole XLR set up now, and it was a heck of an upgrade because I got sick of voice meter. Like everything you're describing right now, like whatever, you slept 9 hours instead of 8 hours, and Voice Meter didn't like that, so it refuses to work for the day, right? And I said, okay, enough of this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I remember waking up that Saturday morning and it was like an ex-girlfriend or something. It's like, Voice Meter's not working. I don't know why, and I can't explain it. She's just done, straight done. So
Those
that's
darn
that.
ex-girlfriends.
Well, Voice Meter for sure. There's no other description. Absolutely.
Well, Stream Deck. I mean, I'm just like, it worked for the first 4 hours, and now it's not. What happened? What happened all of a sudden? Where did it go? It just. I mean, my Twitch is up, my OBS is up, and Stream Deck's not working.
Yeah, I know.
So, he's out. Stream Deck's out.
And then like
So,
you choose to stream the hardest game, I think, on Twitch because it's always breaking as well. So that's a fun thing.
I look at it as a challenge.
Yeah, well, there's two challenges roped into one another. One thing I always found difficult about streaming Star Citizen is just generating quality content. And I really like the fact that you do mining. And you know that I don't care much for mining. Um, and I feel bad because I say bad things about mining. But
Can I get you to change your mind?
well, you don't need to. Because I honestly, genuinely believe that mining is a terrific system. I think they've done a fantastic job on it, and I'm so honest when I say that there is a lot of fidelity in mining right now in 3.10. Boy, and it's come a long ways in the past year, right? Or has it been 2
It
years?
has.
Has it been
It
2 years
has.
now? Anyways, it's something 3.1. It's come a long way since, or 3.2. It's come a long way since 3.2. Um, and I also think that mining is perfect for streaming because it allows you to have time to work with the chat, right? It's like, oh, you start your mining
Yes.
beam and okay, now I can look into chat.
Just about that time that the rock blows up and you go boom.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But I just think about like when you're doing combat, like you always have to be looking at the screen like constantly. And I think mining is a
Yeah.
good balance between those two things, you know?
While I'm searching for rocks, I can easily, interact with my chat. But while I'm concentrating on not blowing up, myself with Quantanium or just a general rock, then I do blow myself up because I do get involved with chat. But, have to have a little excitement here and there.
Do you mind if I ask you how many times you've blown up?
I can't count that high. No, I don't know.
Ooh,
I blow up.
really?
I mean, I
Is
blow
it?
myself up. I don't want to say I blow myself up a lot, but I enjoy mining, but I'm also a numbers girl. I like um, the statistics behind it, the numbers behind it, the cluster statistics, the break statistics, the different head information, and that's the part of the cargo I like too. Um, I like the numbers behind it as well. It's not just looking for a rock and breaking it. It's how can I maximize my load? How can I maximize what I'm taking back and making money for? And of course, right now it's pretty even keeled because we have the good stuff that we mine, and the lower um, priced ores are get left behind. I'm looking forward to the time when the gaming loop for mining and cargo hauling becomes competitive, that we have reasons to mine all the ores, how that interacts with the cargo hauling and the price of the cargo. Your trucking, your space trucking, how much we pick up and we sell will affect how much you're able to pick up and buy and how much you're able to buy it and sell it for. I'm looking forward to when the economy comes into play. So it's more than just going and we're going to break a rock today and we're going to go and sell it for this much. Yep, right now it is kind of like that. But there's so much more potential with that part of the game loop.
Speaking of kind of a competitive nature, do you play the mining mechanic differently on stream compared to when you're not streaming?
No,
No, you do the
I
same
want
thing.
to maximize how much money I make.
Okay.
I want to be able to buy in-game ships. I want to be able to buy prospectors for other people in game who are having a hard time grinding up that money. I want to be able to buy helix heads for other people. So it's not about just how much I can make for me. What can I do to help other people enjoy this game as much as I do? There's so many different aspects to this game, both a lone wolf player, a group player. I may get tired of mining today. Let's go haul some cargo. Let's go do a bunker mission and just see how this new gun works that they're putting out. Or, sure, I'll do a bounty mission. I suck at it, but hey, let's just do it anyway. And I'll get in the saber and just see how bad I can do and how I can make you feel better about yourself because you can beat me at it.
And let me just ask, how do you do mining? Like, do you go to a moon and just spend all your time there looking for a specific commodity, or do you know where the veins are, and do you just go towards those veins once they're depleted? You go to another vein. How does it work?
It's RNG. It's randomly generated. The rocks are so I can log out in front of the best rock you've ever seen, bed log back in. That rock's not there. So there's not a favorite place necessarily to be able to go find these rocks. It's random. You may not ever find a rock there again. And mining is kind of the ultimate explorer of the verse. We're all over those moons. We're ever in every freaking cranny they've got. We see some of the most prettiest sunrises, the sunsets, the topography, just some of the best parts of this game. The miners get to see and interact with every day. And I don't think a lot of people realize how much there actually is in this game, how much work has gone into even the parts of I can talk forever about this.
No, please do.
Even the parts of breaking a rock, it breaks and how it rolls down the hill. It's like, oh my gosh, do they have physics instructors that are working this too? That know that this rock has broken into a chunk that's three-sided and it's going to slide down and then it's going to rip over or tip over on itself and then start rolling. It's like, oh my gosh, who does this? Because any other game, it's just going to be, a rock rolls and down it goes. It doesn't take into account that it's broken to an odd angle and that the ground has this big hump in it right there, so it flies over the edge of this hump. It's amazing. There's so many parts of this game that is just amazing. I just got off topic.
Have you ever been on the ground and someone else is in a prospector and they break up one of those rocks and it starts rolling? Have you ever been on the ground and you like see that massive rock rolling around?
It's amazing. It is really cool. It really is cool. And to hear it,
Yeah.
to hear somebody use a surge consumable on a rock, it is so loud. And it is, if you're standing on the ground outside of it, you're hearing it. You have three people all hearing the same sound, but from different directions or different ways, because it sounds different in the prospector than it does standing outside of it. I mean, it's like you're immersed in it. It's like real life. You're there, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, the role of the person who is on the ground, I think, like that's just a whole different way of experiencing Star Citizen and mining. Because when you're in the prospect, you're flying around, you really take for granted the size of the rocks, but when you're right there and you see this giant laser beam, you know, it's energizing this rock into like magma or something like that. It's just like all of this energy coming out, and then all of a sudden these giant boulders are flying in your direction, and it's terrifying, really, but stuff you take for granted, I guess. Yeah. Well, that's cool.
This game is amazing to me. I just, everybody's like, oh, it's an alpha. It won't do this. We're having 30Ks. It's like, and I keep coming back every day. I keep coming back. I don't even complain about, oh, I can't stand this or that. Nope. I'm playing it in spite of it, and I am loving every minute of it.
Is there like an ultimate moon for mining, like a Death Star for mining?
It depends. Right now, the microtech moons are salted twice as much as the rest of the moons. And I'm sure they did that so that they were getting people to go over and explore those moons. Selling a new Babbage is not the ideal situation, especially if you're trying to mine Quantanium. But we have been over on the microtech moons. In 310, you're not going to catch me over there unless they change some of the weather and how it affects the prospector, because right now it's broke. But so microtech is kind of, the moons around microtech are the places to go and mine if you're really wanting to find more rocks. However, I prefer not the Microtech moons. There's I don't know if it was suggested to me that maybe it's the fog of one of the moons that causes the stream to stutter. Um, so it's not a smooth flying environment for anybody that I found. Nobody has said, "Oh yeah, I fly just fine in those moons." It's a different. I don't know. I don't like it. So I keep to Crusader. I do like the Hurston moons. ArcCorp, not so much, but they're pretty. They've got some really pretty rocks and stuff like that. So it's nice to get out and just change it up a bit.
That's a hard time that I have as well. Is taking a loss in profit just so we could have a nicer scenery, and I feel like that's 100% intended. Because like I live at Lorville right now, I'm not happy about it, but it's the meta. I have to live in
Yeah.
Lorville. It's like, damn. It's like if you want to make money, you have to be a grunt worker. That's just how it works.
So are you playing with keyboard and mouse?
I'm all over the place. I'll tell you one thing. I like combat in keyboard and mouse with 3.11 or 3.10. But
Do you?
I have dual joysticks. If you're familiar with the Lunar Excursion module from the Apollo space program, I actually have my two joysticks configured in the same manner that spacecraft was. So I get to
Wow.
pretend like I'm flying the LEM when I get to fly my Caterpillar around. But it's I don't do too much action. It's just Microsoft Flight Simulator squared, basically. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask you some questions?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's what we're just here having a chat. That's all. Yeah.
Yay. So, have you got to fly the cat and stuff in 310?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Oh, I love it. You know what?
Do you?
The first time that I've said like I've been flying and I'm just said to myself, "Oh, this is a lot of fun." The first time I've done that is it been in 3.10. It's just so much
Really?
harder now. Yeah.
It is harder.
Mhm.
I got the cat out just to try it. I went and over to Tram and Myers, and I went over to Yella. Um, I didn't try to land it at Lorville or anything like that. I just want to kind of get a feel for the different flight model, and I really struggle with it. And I've got the Thrustmaster sitting here. I've got two of them. I think this weekend I'm just going to bite the bullet. They did some changes to their bind or rebinded different keys, so this will be a good time I think to change. But I'm going to have to relearn how to fly the cat a little bit. It's very swingy.
Mhm. I
I'm used
definitely.
to just being able to point it and then go. It's got a lot of sway to it where I'm not used to that.
Yeah, I definitely have to relearn it. But the thing is I feel like I've relearned it at least once a year since I've started playing Star Citizen. So
Oh,
that's just the kind of nature of the game, I feel. Uh,
yeah.
but something I found that's quite strange, and I haven't worked out this problem yet, is decoupled mode. I used to always land, well, I did the majority of my flying in decoupled mode, and I don't know if it's just broken right now, uh, but I don't know how to manage the Caterpillar when decoupled mode's turned on. I can manage it if I'm not landing in a hangar. The problem is when the hangar comes in, uh, I just it doesn't want to seem to follow the reticle, and I guess I was relying on the reticle a lot, and I guess I can't do that now.
So, um, I've always landed it nose first into the hangar at
Yeah,
Lorville.
yeah, that's right.
And I know right where I need to be to get it in. And like you said, the reticle, I know right where it needs to be for me to get in and land. And of course, 9 times out of 10, no issue. There's always that one time where for some reason it just doesn't want to, either it pushes it to one side or the
Mm-hmm.
other of the hangar. I don't think it's me. I think it's just the game. Um, so I haven't tried the Lorville in 310. I may try it this weekend just to see, how I do with it. But
Well, you have to let me know how you make out because how I've experienced it so far is like you point yourself towards the hangar, and as soon as you hit decouple mode turn on, it's like gravity takes over, and the acceleration just increases dramatically. And like I put negative thrust on, and it'll slow it down, but like I guess I have to be anticipating that negative thrust, or I have to anticipate the gravity. And I think that um, I only have these problems maybe on planets because the gravity is higher. On moons, I think flying in decouple is easy. I don't know. Maybe this is the intent, though. Maybe they don't want us to use decouple mode on planets. Gravity sensitive.
um, so have you tried landing it coupled?
Yeah,
And
it's
do
easy.
you
It's basic. Yeah. I feel like a pleb though when I do it. With an ego.
well, ego, come on. Uh, you're adorable. Um, The decoupled, I do fly sometimes with the prospector decoupled, but it just depends on the nature of the prospector. I don't have to fly decoupled. I do fly the Sabre and the Gladius decoupled during parts of bounty missions and that kind of thing. But the Cat, I don't usually fly decoupled. I just maybe I don't feel comfortable enough with my skills. I'm not sure what the deal is.
I mean,
I haven't.
it's 100% unnecessary for sure.
Huh. Perhaps I should try it just to see, especially in 310, since everything's changing at 310.
Yeah. How do you
It's
like
a
the new
time for me to learn stuff over.
How do you like the new flight model overall? Like,
Love it.
you love it. Yeah.
I love it. I like the new targeting system. I think that's great. I mean, today I struggled. I had one of my friends was trying to teach me a couple of things that I didn't know I could do, and I'm still learning this stuff. I am still learning the tricks that it seems like everybody that me knows about. And he's like, yeah, you can do a lag pip, or you can do the forward pip, or you can do this with your map. And I was like, what? I can? The heck? So he was trying to get me to do some of these things, and I was getting so frustrated, not with him, but with myself. It's like, how come I am not getting why am I not getting this? But I'm trying to target and do this and that. But in the 310, I don't have that same issue. The targeting is so much easier. And here I am trying to do the keyboard and mouse and target. And now I've got this pip that I'm either trying to figure out if I want to do lag, fixed, forward, trying to figure out which one works best for me. Gee, I feel like such a newbie.
It's always like that. That's just the way of Star Citizen because it changes so quickly. But the thing is, we're all newbies here because there is a point where nobody knows how to play this game. I think it's only like 1 or 2 hours because it's amazing how quickly some of these people pick up like the strategies to optimize whatever gameplay, you know?
But I keep having to say, oh, what's that number again? What's that number? And I can just feel him going, oh, come on, Tess, you got this.
But I mean, the way I look at it is, I think the chat always knows more than me as a streamer. But I also become better because they're always telling me what to do. It's fine by
Yeah.
me, right?
Well, even, me as a mod, telling somebody how to get out of a cave, and I've never picked up, I've never been in the game, but I've seen this so many times, I know exactly where you're at in the cave. So yeah, absolutely. Some of these people in chat, they're just amazing.
I gotta say though, I think it's one of the hardest things to deal with as a streamer is like a backseat gamer. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, see, I like watching some of the other games on Twitch, and I see their tags, no backseat gaming, and when the new Spyro came out, I was watching it and stuff, and like one of the doors and stuff wouldn't open, and I wanted to say so bad, you got to change it to 30 frames per second because it's not working on 60 for this particular part of the game. And it's like, do I say something? Do I not? So if they would say, hey, does anybody know what's going on with this? I'd say, oh yeah, change it to 30 and you can get through there. It's like, oh, so what's backseat gaming? I don't know. I'm one of those old people that doesn't know what's appropriate, what's not appropriate to say with some of these other gamers.
I don't think it matters. I think it's just it depends on the person. Like some people can tolerate it, some people don't. That's the thing. Some people,
Yeah.
I've seen streams before where people come on Discord and they just, lecture the person on stream, and I'm like, I feel so bad for that guy. I'm like, oh, what a position
I've
to
had
be in,
some of that.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Trying
hard.
to tell me how to mine. It's like, I don't mind tips because I will say I don't know everything. I am not going to say I know everything about mining because I'm still learning stuff. I am always open to learning. And just because I do it one way doesn't mean there might be a better way of doing it. I could try somebody else's way, and if it just doesn't work for me, then I'll go back to what I know. But, when somebody comes in and says, you can find these if you go third person and stuff, it's like, I know, but I don't want to because if I go third person, then I can't see, this or this. And it's like, oh, okay. I don't know if should I say, it's like sometimes I want to say, I know, but other times I just like, oh, that's right. That's cool. I forgot, and just let it go. But whatever.
It's hard. Challenges that we have. Although I will say, like being a part of an org like UEMC definitely helps information go in the right direction, directly into your brain. How did you get involved with UEMC to begin with?
So one of the guys that I met while modding was a member of the UEMC, and he was instrumental in teaching me how to play. And he has the patience of Job. He is so patient, and he's very direct, and he's a very good teacher. And by that I mean he can be so frustrated with me, but I will know I I will never hear it in his voice, even though I feel it within me. He never lets on that he's being frustrated or anything like that. And he was a member of the UAMC, and he encouraged me to probably try it. And I did, but I wouldn't get any of the chat channels. I didn't want to interrupt somebody that might be in the chat channels. I didn't want to ask stupid questions. And he finally just says, "Hey, hop in with me. I'm in this chat. Just do it. You'll be okay." And I'm kind of an introvert, so I hopped in, and it was just all over after that. Everybody was very welcoming. Everybody was very helpful, and um, man, did they just welcome me! And it made me feel like I was a part of the group, and I am part of the group. And I was afraid, being a girl or a woman, that they would be afraid to say certain things around me, or they would be afraid to be themselves. Eh, they're fine. They don't treat me any different than they do anybody else. And I appreciate that more than they would ever understand.
I often find those channels quite intimidating. Every time I go into one, I always seem to make an ass out of myself. Like, I specifically remember the Daymar rally. Um, if you're familiar with the Daymar rally, there's like 70 people in that channel, and it's got to be the most VIP of the VIPs that go into those
Oh,
channels. And I mean, we're supposed to announce ourselves, and I don't know, I just always mess it up. What a nightmare.
it's hard because there are such big personalities.
Yes, exactly.
There are in our org we have big personalities, and it is kind of I will say it can be a challenge, but I find it so much fun to wade through those personalities and to get to know them kind of as individuals. Hey, how's so and so doing? Oh, how's your child? Is he feeling better? But that's just kind of how I am with people. I try to relate to them on some level, even though we may be as different as night and day. And it helps me be comfortable if somebody does that for me. So I try to do that forward and make them feel comfortable too. So they come out of their shell. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We have people that come into the org and they find it's just not for them for whatever reason, which is fine. It's not for everybody. Everybody's got what they're looking for, and I encourage people, if it's not for you, find the org that fits you and enjoy it. Enjoy being in an org, and it can be intimidating jumping to the channels. And I would love to have you in the channels. I think you would really enjoy it. We have fun. I mean, sometimes it's silliness. Sometimes it's a lot of technical talk, which I enjoy. I learn so much listening to these people talk. Some of this. And sometimes it goes right above my head, but I'm not afraid to ask questions. They're more willing to explain it if they know that I don't know what they're talking about. And sometimes it's intimidating to me to ask a question because it does show that I don't know, but that's the only way I'm going to learn it.
Have you ever had the discussion with people within UMC? I don't know if there's like higher ups or something like that. They maybe recommend that you do streaming. Like, do they support your kind of streaming career?
Oh yeah, they do support it. They did not recommend that I stream. I told them I was going to stream and that I would not stream any of our org stuff, that I would not ever put the org into a bad situation where they had to defend themselves because I was streaming, say, an org event or anything like that. Um, and they made a channel for streamers. So I get into the org Discord streaming channel, and the guys will hop in there with me. And they did set it up so that I had to pull people in because we had a couple of incidences. But um, I love it when the guys get in there because if I don't know an answer to a question, somebody does, and I defer to them. I learn so much that way, and I think so does the chat and the people watching. They can ask a question and somebody can answer it. and they're more than willing to help out, the guys in the org, the girls in the org. The higher ups, I don't really talk much to them. I don't know them on a everyday playing level. There are a handful that I do play with that are higher up in the org than I am, and they seem to really support the stream. I've know that a lot of people have joined the org because of my stream, but as far as me being like a recruiter, no. But if I'm passionate about something, I'll share that passion, and being a part of an org is something I am passionate about. Um, I like the group play, and I find it so helpful for people trying to learn. If somebody wants to be a miner, then hop in and learn it. And if you decide you want to be a pirate, well, then find you a pirate org. There's something to be said about learning from other people.
I find it interesting how you say that they're concerned about defending themselves from you talking about org matters on Twitch. Um, I'd like to know more about that. Like, what is it? How and why? I guess they feel that way.
Well, so if we're doing an org event and we have a bunch of prospectors, say over on ETA or Magda, and somebody wants to stream snipe or come and wreak havoc with us while we're having an org event, I would feel horrible if I put the org into a position to everybody's getting killed because of me, and they feel like they've got to that I've put them in a bad position. Um, However, on the other hand, we have a lot to learn from that. We do need to know how to defend ourselves. We do need to know how to fight back. We are easy to pick off, and prospectors aren't fighters. We're not made for fighting. Our ships aren't made for fighting. We're made for working. So there are advantages to that too. So when I do stream an org event, it's with their consent, and and that's what I meant by that, by defending themselves, is putting them in a bad position within the game. I'm not worried about, org to org or anything like that. Um, but being, stream sniped, it's not fair to put them in that position.
Okay. Okay. I just figured maybe they'd have a gateway of getting people into the org through Twitch. Do they have many Twitch streamers at the UAMC?
We have a few actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do.
I'm curious to know which ones they are. Do I know
We
any of
have
them?
Big Sinka.
Okay.
We have Murger Maho. He changed his name. We have come on, chat, help me out with some of the guys that stream that within the org. We have some that stream like just here and there. Trench is one that just does it here and there. I think Big Sync is the one I've seen the most streaming just lately. But I think I'm probably more the full-time streamer within the org. JD Gamer's one. He streams. He's also part of the org.
And do all these guys they all stream mining as well?
No.
No.
No, they do their own thing. Had One Too Many is also a streamer. He's in the org. No, they're not all miners. There's all around players. I'm probably the most full-time streaming miner within the org.
Yeah, you do a lot. You definitely stream quite a bit. You stream more than I do. So I feel like, wow, it's amazing. Because I can't do any more than what I'm doing right now, for sure.
Well, but you also work outside of the home, so it makes a difference too.
Well, technically I work from home.
Well, I know, but you also have an outside job. I'm making this my job. So I'm dedicating more time to it than just, the 4 hours. Now, if I were to take a job outside of the home or an outside job, then I would definitely have to cut down some of the hours, just to be able to live and do it too.
Yeah. Well, I'm a cargo pilot. That's what I'd like to do. Maybe someday I can do it for a living. You were you doing some cargo last week? I think some people came by my Twitch stream and mentioned you were doing cargo.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I do cargo hauling.
You do
I
do
try
it
to do it
sometimes?
off stream.
I see.
I prefer to do it off stream, and I prefer not to do cargo hauling on weekends because of the servers seem to be a bit janky. But
Oh, that's so true.
also, I've gotten a little more braver doing it on stream. as far as being stream sniped. Like watching you, you never seem to run into anybody because I do enjoy watching your stream. You never seem to run into those people that are sitting there picking off the cats, you know, trying to do their cargo hauling.
I didn't even know that existed. So that's a real problem right now?
Yes.
Really? So people aren't doing cargo
Oh
running
yeah.
because they're afraid of pirates.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
I mean, but you know, you've got your cash built up. I've got my cash built up. For me to lose 1.4 million, it's not it's not that big a deal to make it back.
Yeah.
But for some people, they don't. The rule is never spend more than half of what you've got in UEC, because you don't want to go down to nothing. So they're putting everything into it. Then they're walking away with no UEC. They can't even put fuel in their ships, and then they give up. And it's kind of heartbreaking in a way. But PvP is a part of the game,
Mm.
like it or not.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, yeah, I think it's about time of day, to be honest. Like, just certain times of day, there's more pirates versus not. So, it's just more people should do cargo trading in the morning. That's what I was saying.
Well, the ones that I know, that's when they do theirs.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true, actually. There's some Aussies as well who I associate with. They also do it around the same time. But then you get all of us doing it at the same time, and we just tap out the market. But,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully that
Oh,
changes in 311. Who knows?
so do you think 310 that they're not going to change the prices? They're going to still stay static, or?
Yeah, I don't think the price is going to change. I don't think the price is going to change at all. I think they're pretty fair, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we have, oh God, what are we selling Laranite for right now? 740? 740 or
Um,
something 40. Or what are we buying it for, rather? I think whatever that
20.
Laranite, what is it?
I have it written down here somewhere. So, yeah, it's 3101, and I think I pick it up at 30. I think I sell it for 3101 and pick it up for 20 something, right?
I remember the second digits. I don't remember the first ones. I'm going to be writing this down. I'm getting a new desk next week, so I'm going to be writing
How
this
are
stuff
you?
down. Um, it's
Congratulations on your
thank
new place.
thank you very much. It's very exciting. Very
It
exciting.
is. It is exciting, isn't it? New changes can be exciting if you don't let them get in your head.
Well, I mean, the place that I've been living at now is temporary, and COVID just threw a wrench in it.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm very excited to get out. 24.1 to 3101. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I usually buy at 2440. That's how it goes. 2440
2440 and 310. Okay.
at Bezdek. I think they sell it for 2440 at Laranite. But I
Yeah.
don't think that price is going to change. I definitely don't think it's going to change to 3.10. We've had the same prices, I think, since 3.3. I think so. I think the acetine changed a little bit because I used to start with acetine, and I don't ever remember making over 100K a run on acetine, or not acetine, fluorine. Um, yeah, but now you can do fluorine pretty well. Acetine actually came up as well, if I'm not mistaken, and gold went down. I think gold
Yeah.
went down, and diamond, the supply on diamond changed drastically. So that was
Yeah. Because
interesting.
diamond was what I was taking.
Originally, or that's what you do now?
No, that's what I was doing 3 patches ago, right? 3 patches.
Yeah, could be.
December, January, somewhere through there. Diamonds and diamonds, laranite. See, diamonds, laranite, titanium.
Yep, titanium's nice.
Starting with diamonds and titanium and working my way up to laranite. Yeah. I mean, I start with 5,000 UEC. Well, now I'll probably start with more because I got a different game package, but 5,000 UEC, just like anybody else.
Yeah. I love starting out fresh like that.
I know.
I always
It's a
hope
challenge.
100%. I always hope for a server wipe. It's just the time to start fresh, like you said. It's my favorite
Well,
time.
I did have had to do a few account wipes, but of course I kept my UEC, but they got rid of my favorite armor, of course,
Of course.
because I wear it everywhere.
Which armor is that?
It's that purple, pinkish purple. That way I don't get, if I decide to do a bunker mission, nobody takes me for an NPC. So
How
be
do you,
bright, be
how,
loud.
how do you feel about the female clothing
It
abnormalities?
sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's like we have no choices. Even our character, when we make our character, we are so limited on looks. But I don't want to complain about that. It's just such a small thing, and I they've done very well, I guess, with what they have, but or what they've created. But the female clothing, it's not good. And
Yeah,
if you look, most of it's not even available.
I know that's the
Like
thing.
they give you something you don't even want. So then they take it away. I lost my Invictus bomber jacket.
What?
I lost my all the clothes I bought over at New Babbage. I lost those. So
Oh, that's
I start
tragic.
over.
I had no idea that there's no female Invictus jacket.
Nope. Well, I had a bomber jacket on, but I lost it on the one of the wipes I had.
You don't think we'll keep that? You don't think we'll get that back in a next patch?
Well, I would hope that they at least let us buy it somewhere or something.
Yeah, because I think they said that was the most sold article of clothing in the history of Star Citizen. Hard to
It was
believe that they
awesome.
get rid of that. Man,
Why would they not make it purchasable like through the subs?
yeah, that's true.
I'd pay them my $5.
I mean, even if it was some type of like legacy clothing that we buy in PTU and then we just carry with us throughout our account, we always have that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
So what do you think about them having the uniforms, the armor storage in each of the ships? Because they talk about you having to change out of your armor and keeping it in those different ships and stuff, but it's like that doesn't. I understand the concept, but I don't know how it'd be possible.
I can't wait. I'm excited for that. I don't wear armor right now. I don't think I've ever worn armor, to be honest. I always just wear an undersuit. So I think that's what a pilot should be wearing. So all pilots will have to strip down. I think that's okay.
So when you get ready to get out of your cat to run into to purchase, what about the mustard gas there on Ariel or the I know it's not mustard gas, but still that having a helmet for or the cold weather suit or the hot weather suit. I know that you can live a little bit of time in that environment, but um, having so okay, for the mole, for instance, the two side turrets are open to the environment. So if you decide to go from Yella over to Daymar, you're going to have both your cold weather and your hot weather. What if you're not in your mole? What if you're in somebody else's mole? Because obviously it's not your mole if you're in a turret. Um, how's that going to work?
I guess I'm going to have some type of special seat where you can, be equipped in this armor, but I guess you'd also have to store it behind you or something as well. Or maybe you don't go. Maybe you got to go back to your home base and change your armor up to go to Delamar or Daymar.
You know how much time it takes just getting a crew over to anywhere?
Well, I think the game is on super speed right now. I think that it's going to be much slower in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's possible. I mean, I know the changes will come, and I know that what necessarily is being said now may not be what happens. It's always changing, and what's in concept may not be what's realistic, to put into a game. So,
Earth.
I think I enjoy listening to people talk about, well, what if, and this could happen or that could happen. It's like, yeah, I enjoy those conversations, but to get serious about it, you just kind of have to take it with a grain of salt and know that, yeah, it may change, it may not change.
Totally. Yeah. Earthbound says that there are armor storage in the mole on each side of the turrets, I guess.
Yep.
So that's
So you have to haul around your armor with you and stick it in there, or are we always going to have it available in our Moby glass to be able to change out? I guess that was my question is, we already have it in our, Moby glass. I know it's not. I guess it's kind of like having weapons aboard. You have a weapon storage on your 890 or some of your other ships. Do you need to have those stocked for people who come onto your ship since they're only limited to having two on their backs? I don't know the mechanics of all how that's going to work.
I hope to see more of this in 3.11. I think this kind of plays along with iCache and physicalized inventory, so
Yeah,
we'll have to see what they come up with for that. I would
that'd be
say
kind of cool.
I would say though, just in defense of my not wearing armor while doing cargo runs, it's kind of the Canadian way, you know. When it's negative 50 degrees out, you just put on a house coat and you run outside, get your crap, then run back in. That's how we roll. And we don't lock any doors up here because anything could happen. So you always
We
leave
don't
your
either.
doors open. Yeah.
I know one of the guys in the org. I just adore him. He likes to role play, and he has his 890 jump. He's like party in the pool, and he's always wearing his underwear with an overcoat. He's like Tessa, you know, and I'm like, y'all think I'm going to be impressed with two guys wearing overcoats in their underwear? I'm going to run. I was warned about people like y'all. Y'all scare me.
Is the pool in the 890 in a better state? Because last batch I know it was lethal. Have you noticed it?
Actually, I got in it last night in my skivvies, and I almost died because I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
You have to have a helmet on.
Oh, is that what it is? You have to have. That's the problem. I always
You
die
have to
from
have a
it.
helmet on.
I never wear a helmet. That's my biggest problem as Star Citizen. I'm still walking outside without a helmet on. Like it happens at least once a week. So
Guppying.
yeah. Whoops a daisy. And
I know. I had my boots on, but no helmet. What was wrong with me? I should have known.
yeah. So big news, I guess. It is Friday, so we got an update to the roadmap. Did you see that 3.12 was added to the roadmap today?
I didn't. I haven't seen anything. We went to dinner and came back and got ready for the show.
Oh, it's exciting. Well, it's kind of. I'm gonna put it on the big screen. If you're looking at Twitch, you can see it now. Oh my, it's
Yes.
pretty messed up. But yeah, we got 3.12 on now, and I guess the big thing is that the refinery deck has been moved from 3.11 to 3.12, and obviously that would have a strong relevance for you.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think that this is actually going to tie into the Quanta system. It's like a dynamic trade universe, and I think that maybe the miners are going to sell commodities to these refineries, and then it'll go to the trade deck or something, and then the cargo haulers will maybe get the commodity at a different price based off of that refinery, and maybe there could be kind of an organic trade system developed from that. I think. I don't know.
That'll be the start of the economy
Here's hoping, anyways.
into play. Yeah.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yep. I would like, and I would like for there to be missions for both cargo hauling as well as for mining. You
Yeah,
know,
that'd be
somebody needs
cool.
for you to pick up, you know, so much acetine, fluorine, you know, or diamonds and deliver it, you know, to a certain place. And, you know, you make that money plus, you know, whatever they want to pay on top of that, you know, type deal so that you have reasons to be picking up stuff besides just Laranite and hauling, you know, money for, or hauling Laranite for UEC. Um, there's a reason to be going to these different outposts to pick up different things, you know. And the same for mining, you know, we want a delivery of gold, you know, with a certain amount of inert, you know, so you have a reason to go and mine this lower desirable ore.
What? How does that work? I'd like to hear your version of mining missions. Like, what would you best case scenario? How would you like to see mining missions work?
I would like to see it where um, you have a supplier needing Laranite. Very simple. And they're willing to pay you, you know, the going price for Laranite plus another $10,000 if you can bring them a load of Laranite with less than 30% inert, or um, you know, something like that within you know, maybe a time frame even. So you're not spending 3 days trying to, you know, get this done. You have a time frame in it. And the same with the cargo, you know, that somebody's needing a load of Laranite over to a different station for the manufacture of weapons, or, you know, whatever it is they're going to use it for. And, you know, they need a partial load of Laranite with some fluorine, and you pick it up, you haul it, and they're going to give you the going price plus another on top of it for, you know, whatever special needs they may have.
That's interesting. Just listening to that, I hope that there is a kind of a group element to that where, maybe you're a miner and maybe, you really want to control the quality of the commodity. So, like a high value laranite, only way to guarantee that high value laranite is if you produce it and hey, we have to ship it to this guy over on Crusader. So, you're going to hand it off to a refinery. Maybe it's a refinery ship or a refinery vehicle or something like that. And then after that, it goes. So maybe there's 3 different individuals involved there that take those roles and ultimately complete a mission. Hmm,
Absolutely.
that's cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. It'd be great to have something besides, a bunker mission or a cargo, box missions where you just go and drop off a box. It'd be great to have an inner, the web all flows together where you've got, each person doing their part. And of course, we're going back into the economy part of things. It'd be great to see what they have in mind for it, because I'm sure it's totally different than what I have in my mind.
Well, maybe yes, maybe no, because you have a really good perspective on the mining industry, and you know what the thing is I think that CIG listens to UEMC, and what you guys want could be what it becomes because you provide the ideas.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, we have the Evocati and they have such a big job to do. And I know at times they're not given the things that they need to do that job. And it's frustrating for them. I know there are people, oh, I want to be Evocati and stuff. But when you talk to those that are Evocati, sometimes just can't imagine the frustration of 30K after 30K after 30K when they're trying to test something and give them feedback and they can't even get in, or they don't give them enough UEC to buy the cold weather suits to be able to test the rock because they're dying within, 5 minutes of trying to get into this vehicle that's not really working right. I, uh, I just can't imagine finding that fun.
Yeah. Well, we might be getting more of that fun for the future. Something else I think that was added for 312 was the tractor beam stuff. So I,
Oh yeah.
I guess this is probably going to be a play on the push and pull system. Whatever mechanisms are required to have that push and pull. Now we'll be able to have push and pull with the force with a tractor beam.
Salvaging.
Salvaging. Oh goodness.
Yeah, salvaging.
Do you want to get into salvaging?
Maybe. It just depends on how it's presented and how it's actually gonna work. I think I would enjoy salvaging, but, tow trucking
Tow
and
trucking's
fuel
cool.
hauling.
Tow trucking's cool. Yeah, the
Well, then
yes.
you're still back into the push and pull of the tractor beams, yeah.
Oh yeah, well that's all I imagine actually. When I saw this card go up for 312, I said, "Oh, well that guarantees the Argo SRV is probably going to be in that patch or maybe in the following patch." So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm the medical gameplay too, it really interests me, but how are they going to incorporate that into the, game loop? I don't know. It may get in and I may just say, that's not for me." It's not what I thought it was gonna be, but so I'll take that ship and melt it into something else. Um, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the things that are upcoming, and the game is progressing so much. I mean, these patches, when you look at the sheer volume of what they're introducing, it's just amazing. That's 3 months worth of work that they're putting into something that's so there's just so much added. The Microtech moons, Microtech itself, new Babbage, on top of all the other things that they added, the Quantanium. I mean, that's just the stuff that I deal with. Not the other stuff that all these other people deal with in the game. They're adding a lot to the game and it's just growing so quickly.
I think you have a very healthy perspective on this because there's a lot of people out there that are very disappointed because they think that they were releasing more stuff in the past. And I think in reality they're just promising more stuff in the past and mismanaging the expectations. But you're right.
Well,
You're certainly right.
do you think that maybe, you know, what they have envisioned when they start to make it practical, it's not practical or it's not really applicable how they're wanting to bring something in. So they have to scrap something and start over and it changes the direction. Or, did they really have the rock on as a part of mining, or did it just all of a sudden pop up, because of something else? I just wonder how much is I know they have the roadmap, but how much of stuff has popped up as they're progressing on that roadmap, and so much stuff is scrapped. I know we're not privy to a lot of stuff. Um, So, what do you think about the progression? I know I hear different things from different people on, they just shouldn't have put that out there then. They should have just kept working on this instead of that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I do work in software. I work for a tech company, so I do follow the project management quite closely. Um, and I do believe that they should stick with the regular scheduled releases. So they say quarterly releases, they should push something out. I think they should do that, and I think that well, that's a proven method for having reliable software. And I don't. It's a hard thing to swallow for the community because that means they're gonna release half-baked features. But the thing is like sometimes you just got to get it out there because the thing is like you're always gonna want to change it. That's inevitable. You're never really gonna be like every programmer I've ever met has always been that way, where it's like they're just never fully satisfied with something they create. So like if you don't release it, you're really never gonna release it, and I think that could be a problem. But yeah, it could have been a problem with a number of software projects similar to this. So that's my
See, you're
opinion.
talking about something I don't know anything about. I don't know about project management from a software point of view. So, um, hearing it from that point of view, it kind of changes a little bit for me what um, I guess I understand more when people say they should refine better what they have and not keep pushing forward until something's finished on one end. Is that what you're saying, kind of?
Well, no, I'm saying put out crap basically. If
Oh,
it's
okay, gotcha.
if it's not done, just put it out because you're not going to be happy with it anyways. But the problem is with the gaming industry is there's just so much more to it. Like software is
Mhm.
good because it doesn't deal with all this other nonsense. But they have this whole like, they got marketing and they got this customer service and then it's got to be fun, right? They're supposed to be testing all these other things too. Like we're gonna release a feature so we can test the fun component, like this other psychology with using software. And it's like interfaces. They have to release something to test the interfaces.
Right.
It's never ending, and I don't know. I really love to work in the gaming industry just so I have a better understanding because it's like you work on a website. It's just like it's a business. You're just conducting business through a computer. But when you're working in a game, it's like a psychological manipulation. Like you're really extracting chemicals out of the brain, and you're harvesting those chemicals. And I think that's fantastic. It just blows my mind.
But when
Game.
I watch their Thursday shows and they have the different people on for the different um, parts of the game, sometimes I think, how does the left hand know what the right hand's doing? And I know project management, I get that. And then I look at the game itself and I look at what they're putting out, and I mean, I can see how overwhelming that could be. And I just can't imagine what it must be like in their offices on a day-to-day basis, especially when you get a bunch of creators together. I love to paint. I love doing artwork. And then on that same thing, when I deal with artists throughout, you know, career and stuff, they kind of come and go with the wind. It's like, oh, not today. I'm not feeling it. That seems to be the mentality of artists. And I know that this is also artwork in its own form.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah. I often liken game development to being like Top Gun. It's like the best of the best. But it's like it's not just the best of like smart people. Like it's the best of all people, sound designers and artists and physics people and economists, lawyers, and then
Mm.
3D modelers, and then software people and all those other everyone else in between. It's an
So,
orchestra. That's what it is. And you have the conductor in the front trying to get people to stay in tempo.
so say, how did they get anything done?
It's
That's the end question.
complicated.
How did they get anything done?
It's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, well, I mean, we see on the roadmap one thing about the roadmap that they recently did, and I think a lot of people are disappointed about is the fact that we had all of these features for 310, and they only have 5 features now for 312. So it's and
But
also, sorry.
what do you think? I mean, do you think they'll add to that?
Yeah, I do. I think they will, but at the same time, I feel like they're learning lessons. They're trying to manage expectations. They're trying to under promise and over deliver, which is a better way to go about the problems, I think. So,
Hmm.
what else can you do? I mean,
Well,
what
that's true. We just keep playing.
yeah, that's right. That's our jobs. And that's not an easy job to do in my opinion because like I'm
Yeah.
looking at this roadmap and I'm like, well, the next few months are going to be really challenging because so much of their release schedules affect our stream schedules. You know, when it's times that are good, our streams are good. And when the community isn't so happy, then they go focus on other games. So,
Yeah. Are
it's
there do you know if there's very many um solo Star Citizen streamers? I mean, not my solo, but like I just do Star Citizen. I have not spread out into anything else. I just want to do Star Citizen. This is my game. And Hubs is like, you need to have a backup plan just in case. It's like, "Well, cooking.
that's
I
not
do
a
a lot of
bad thing.
cooking,
Yep. I'm going to
artwork.
I hope to be doing some cooking streams in the future. Artwork is cool too. They do well on Twitch.
Well, it's a whole different setup for me. Doing artwork, it's a whole different setup.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like even if I do cooking streams, I'm probably going to want to buy two more cameras, right? Different
Yeah.
angles. And I'm probably going to want to get one of those stream decks so I can switch between multiple cameras and stuff like that. And then it turns into a real production because you're going to
Yeah.
want the lighting and the sound and
You almost need another person there.
oh,
I mean,
100%.
really.
Yeah.
And now it's no longer just a easy stream.
No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the few he was on here last week and he was talking about the fact that he has $20,000 roped into his streaming stuff.
Oh
And,
my
and
gosh.
it's like, but the thing is his stream setup isn't even that wild. He's not like Nerd Show and Tell. It's got a
Right.
laser light show with fireworks and pyrotechnics and stuff like that. So,
Well, I know, and that's what some of these productions are just amazing to me. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like a whole movie set, what you got going on, and it's fun to watch, but it's just not me.
yeah. Well, it's a lot of work too. I mean, they put some heat on Nerd Show and Tell, but he works his butt off. So
Yeah,
it's well worth it, I think. And
I
go ahead,
I
sorry.
avoid him. I avoid him.
You avoid him.
I
Okay.
spend half my days, trying to hide from Nerd and Noodle.
Yeah, they're the characters of Star Citizen, aren't they?
Oh, I adore Noodle. I just adore him. And I know it's so funny because um, we're just as different as night and day. But I just adore him. And it's like if I ever have to become a pirate, I'm coming knocking on your door. I'm going to have you teach me. Learn from the best, right?
Yeah, he does a good job at it. That's for sure. Man, he's good at PvP. That's so wild. And it's like he doesn't even put that much effort into it. It's so natural for him to do these things. I don't understand how they do that, to be honest.
Muscle memory, I don't know. It'd be nice to have that muscle memory.
Yeah.
We're banging on my keyboard. It's like, no.
How did you like the ISC this week? Are you pleased by it? Did you have a good time?
Um, yeah, I guess.
There really wasn't much, was there? I mean, they just kind of
Uh,
talked about the brands of
ouch.
Star Citizen.
Um, it was okay. I mean, I sat and watched it the other night, and it was just, I just feel like it was, I mean, it was just kind of half-assed, I feel like, in a way.
Yeah, that's
But,
true.
that's just my take on it. Somebody else may have a different take on it. And, of course, if they do, I'd like to hear that because maybe it's just because I was tired while I was watching it and just wasn't keeping my attention. I mean, I didn't even finish it, really. I got to almost the end and I was just like, all right, I guess I can go to sleep now. But, some things interest me more than others, and that one just wasn't it for me.
Yeah, that's true. And like I often think about what the process must be behind creating these episodes. Like the
Yeah.
quality is pretty high. The writing, if there is any writing involved, I think it's pretty good. Their dialogue is pretty good.
Yeah.
But man, it's quite a production that they do, and it's
And it's
it's
every week,
it's every week, and
you
like
know.
all of that stuff has to go through CR. CR has to prove it, or the marketing team has to make sure there's no leaks or spoilers, and that could change, week by week.
Yep.
It's like I don't know, drinking from a fire hose or something.
Yeah, I mean, and if somebody gets sick, it's like, because you think do they have these planned out weeks in advance? I mean, I would assume they know in a month out, but then you look at the production of what they're doing, it's like, are they, you know, pre-planned?
Yeah, that's pretty hard to believe. Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty good. So tell me, what do you got? What do you got planned for the next year, or how do you? What direction are you taking your stream? What do you hope to accomplish? I guess.
Oh, well, I hope to make partner sometime in the next year and a half. I know it's not going to happen overnight. I didn't expect it to grow as well as it's grown, but it also depends, streaming depends so much on our audience. And Star Citizen is a small audience. It's a very small community compared to a lot of the other Twitch channels or Twitch content, I guess. And it's very specific. So making partner would be a big step for me. And I know that making partner doesn't really give me much more as a streamer. It's just a goal. And even if I don't make that goal, I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. And but as a streamer, or just me in general, I like to have a goal set so I know a direction to go in. And as far as Star Citizen goes, I just have to take what they throw and see how it works for me. Like I said, if they take and break mining, well, then I may have to become a pirate. Hopefully not, because I'm not a mean pirate. I'd have to be a nice pirate. Um,
It's like
so
Buster.
as far as the Twitch channel goes, I would like to make partner. It may not happen. It may. I'm really enjoying the community. I'm enjoying the chat. I'm enjoying the other streamers. Oh, I just love to watch some of these other streamers. I'm enjoying watching them grow. And I love to raid a new streamer and just they get so overwhelmed. And I enjoy that. I really enjoy that. Because I remember, just starting out and getting raided and just like, oh my gosh, somebody actually raided me. Um, so, it's still new to me. Streaming is still new to me. I still get nervous before each stream. I got nervous before tonight, but the words of wisdom, just be yourself, which is all I can be.
I mean,
Just picture him naked. It's like, no.
I mean, I still get nervous. I still get nervous before this podcast. Absolutely. My unfortunately, when I stream so early in the morning. I'm hardly even awake when I stream. So, that's another way to do it. Just be half asleep when you're streaming. Takes care of the
I didn't
nerves.
realize you were Pacific Standard Time. Oof.
Yep, it's pretty early.
Yes, that's dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the best way to wake up in the morning. I've always well, a lot of my life I've spent waking up playing video games, and I don't know, it just feels good. Feels good waking up doing that.
Do you ever just want to lay there and say, I just don't want to do this today? I just need a day off.
Well, I got to get her to bed at some point. What am I going to do then? Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Might as
I
well
know
run
in the
Laramie.
afternoons, I'm running around trying to get my stuff caught up, and I look up and it's like, oh my gosh, it's almost time, and I still have 100 things to do. I guess if I were to get up and stream right off the bat and get that part, done for the
Get
day,
her
and then have the
done.
rest of the day to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, usually my days are like I stream 3 hours and then I go to work uh, till like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And then I
Ooh.
work on Star Racing, which is this website I've been working on for a year for racing in Star Citizen. So,
So like the Daymar thing coming up tomorrow?
yep, they're using my website for that. I'm super stoked and excited. And by the way, guys, if you're not signed up for the Grey Cat Social tomorrow, check it out. It's the best race that these guys, the Daymar Rally, do. It's so much fun. Yes.
So where's the information for that?
Well, you can find it at star.racing.sc. Star.racing.sc. His race, all of his race are posted there. Earthbound, it's in the PU, so have fun with that.
30K.
Oh yeah, but you know what though? Last year the social wasn't that bad because it's a pretty small area. I think one of the big problems with the Damer Rally is it goes like it's a good chunk of the planet, and I don't know that the servers have a hard time with that. But at least last year the social, it's all in this area, and they're just driving around a mountain. So it's a circuit race. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
straightforward, pretty simple. And it doesn't last all day, which is very good. It's only like an hour or two.
Wouldn't it be fun to be able to just go and sit and be able to watch this? I mean, like,
I
I don't
mean,
know how to describe it.
we're getting there. We're definitely
I
getting there.
know.
I think we tried to do that last year, but the server was just not having any of it. I think a
So is
part.
anybody going to stream it?
Yeah, they're supposed to. Crucian. Oh shoot, Crucian will probably be. He's like the streamer for the DMR rally, so he'll probably be doing that. Other
Um,
participants, Space Nerd Pickle, maybe. Sorry.
but what are you thinking about Grim Hex and that kind of um, gameplay?
You know, I have a lot of anxiety about racing in Star Citizen because I am just a small guy and I'm trying to make this website, and it could take nothing. Like an 18-year-old could make this website in like a night. So I mean, you know, I could be forgotten about very quickly. So I don't feel like I'm in a rush because of the Grim Hex changes. They're doing scramble racing. I'm not touching scramble. I
No.
Scramble racing is like a demolition derby, so it's not really
Yep.
a race. So I'm not too concerned about it. Yeah.
We need to become salvagers if they're going to start this racing stuff.
Oh, that would be super cool. Absolutely. But that's not there yet either, is it?
Pit crew.
Yeah, that would be cool. Well, I just so you know, Arena Commander is still relevant in the racing hemisphere. They're still doing tournaments, and there's still people who really, really care about Arena Commander racing. So racing's not dead, not yet,
Well, it
anyways.
shouldn't be. It should also be a very viable part of the game.
Yeah, and it's not that yet either. So it's in a gray area.
Oh, a lot of gray areas in there.
Oh, especially in Star Citizen, it's like,
We are paying them to test their game.
yep, yep. You know, that's what I say to every person who's new to the game. It's like you're paying to be a game tester. That's all there is. That is Star Citizen.
No wine and no engine.
No, that's right. Yeah, 100%.
So tomorrow, what time is this going to start?
What time is it going to start? Well, why don't I bring up the website here really quickly?
Thank
Hold on.
you.
Hold on, I'm going to bring it up. Can I bring it up actually on my main screen? Hold on here 1 second. Just a second. Can you see it if I bring it up on the main screen? There it goes. Okay, so this
I'm
is
seeing me.
my beautiful website.
Oh, there we go. Good.
Yeah. So it's well, let me just go to the timer here. Okay. So it's in 14 hours and 39 minutes from now, 8 p.m. UTC is what he's got on here. Can you see that? Does that work? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't say the local time. Usually, well, this thing, if you go to this website, I mean, it says greycatsocial.racing.sc, but it's star.racing.sc. They'll go to the same place. And this timer here, this will convert it to whatever your time is local. So
Oh, okay. Cool.
it's you know, it says PST for me. I'm in PST. So no matter what, you go to this website, and then there's all the participants here. Space Nerd Pickle. What I'm working on right now is incorporating the Twitch streams into it because I know Space Nerd Pickle, he is a Twitch streamer. So in the very near future, I'll have a little logo to say that they're a streamer as well. Because I'd like to turn this into a streamer's platform, really.
Yeah, because being able to get 50 people into a server, you know how that's going to be, obviously. So a lot of us would only be able to watch it, streaming.
Yep.
And I would definitely enjoy watching it, being streamed and leave that spot open in the server for the racers and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so hard too. But man, this one's a lot of fun. Grey Cats are such a cool vehicle. Whoever decided to put golf carts in the game deserves a raise. It's probably
They're
CR.
pretty cool.
Anyways, I think. Go ahead.
The Rock doesn't drive like a Grey Cat.
What's your opinion about the Rock? You haven't talked about the Rock at all.
The Rock. I think at first I was just uninterested. Really, it just didn't seem like something I would enjoy. But now that I've gotten to play with it a bit, I think that there's a real chance for people to be able to make UEC in game with it, and especially if they don't want to spend time in a prospector. It's just another avenue. It's just another ship that does mining, and of course there needs to be some perfection to it. It's not quite ready, but I will probably own one or two. The mining mechanic is the same in it as it is in the Prospector as well as the Mole. They've kept that same general um, mining mechanic there. And we'll see how the game progresses. You know, they're talking about going to veins and drilling into the ground and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it progresses. Right now, they've changed the cargo capacity of the gray cat from 2,000 to 800. So your capacity of making money has been changed to a total of 220,000 UEC for a full load of hadonite with the gray cat. But it doesn't drive the same as the little golf cart. It drives a lot differently and not very well. It's top heavy, and it's not as easy to drive at all. It's not as maneuverable. So we'll see if they change it or if they leave it the same.
So the gameplay itself is different than the hand mining. So there's only really two types of mining right now. Then there's the hand mining, and then there's the prospector mining. The rock falls into the prospector mining. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I was able to break rocks with the prospector. Not necessarily. Yeah, it was easy. I will say it was easy to do. You just have to really pay attention to what you're doing, and then the rock can just vacuum them up. But it's not giving you the correct amount of. It's not counting the shards correctly, or they're calling them they calling them the children, the child. I forgot what it was, the term they used, and I was like, that's kind of odd, but so there's some problems there. However, I guess the base of it's sound. It's just a four-wheeled mining vehicle, and if it ever goes into the caves, I'm on it. I think that'd be great. I love that kind of gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just wait until there's aliens in those caves as well, and then you have to mine.
What makes that poop that we find in the caves?
Is there poop in the caves? I'd never realized that before.
There is. You can pick it up and sell it.
That's terrifying.
I know, right? I've never seen it.
I've never seen it. I haven't been to
never seen the animal.
I haven't been to a cave since they first came out. I haven't been to them back. There's no trading to do in a cave. Why would I go to a cave, I guess?
You're a hardcore trader.
Yeah. I don't play the game enough. That's the problem. I do 3 hours a day and it's still not enough, so.
So nothing else interests you but the trading, pretty much?
No, I mean, I've done a lot of civil aviation in my life. I have my pilot's license, and I've been playing Microsoft Flight Simulator since 1994. So, it's the same type of gameplay I've played my whole life, and it's relaxing. It feels good, and it makes lots of money, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
Guess that's.
So what do you do with your private pilot's license?
Nothing. It's a single engine aircraft, and it costs $200 an hour to operate. So I don't do anything with it. It's just something I've done. But though you do that kind of training, and I find it changes your brain a little bit. So I don't regret it. I recommend everybody do it. In fact, it's good to know all of that stuff too, like just in regards to physics and weather systems and how to operate a radio, how to speak over radio. Yeah. I think those are good skills to have. So it's my version of college, I guess.
Our Coast Guard Auxiliary has air patrol, air support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they use pilots.
Yeah.
Pilots and they use some of their own, but they get reimbursed for their fuel and stuff.
Oh, they use their own airplanes?
Yep.
Oh, that's wild. What kind of airplanes do they use?
It just depends on who's got what. It's like our boat is a certified Coast Guard vessel, and it's different, say, from somebody else's boat. It's the same for the aircraft.
So could you get one of those like Cold War fighters from surplus and fly like a fighter jet and do that for Coast Guard Auxiliary?
Absolutely.
That would be so much fun. Could you imagine?
And they'll pay for your fuel.
Holy crap, it would be a lot of fuel.
Yeah. You should look in, that's right, you're Canadian, right? I was going to say you should look in the Civil Air Patrol, but that's a U.S. thing too.
Yeah. Well, I think the aviation industry is currently going through some hard times, so I'll have to get back to you on that one.
That's so cool, though.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to wrap this up there. We're past 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes now. So
Goodness.
Yeah. So thanks so much for coming on the show. Was there any icing on the cake? Was there anything I missed that we should have discussed? Or how do
I
you
don't
feel?
know. You surprised me with some of your questions. I'm impressed.
That's
I was
good.
surprised you asked about the Coast Guard and fishing and my gramps and stuff.
Well,
That's awesome.
I care about what you do, and you're a part of this community. So yeah,
Oh, thank you so much.
I hope
Well,
everybody, or
hope your pizza goes well tomorrow and you win blue ribbon and
I hope there is a blue ribbon. If there's no blue
all the
ribbon,
big
I'm gonna
bucks.
complain. Yeah. Well,
You
no,
won't go hungry tomorrow.
absolutely not. No, I mean, I originally went to school for cooking, so food is no
Oh,
problem for me. Yeah.
a fellow foodie.
I am a foodie. Yeah. Well, I've worked at restaurants all over the country, so I like cooking in restaurants. It's a thrill. It's a high almost.
Really?
Yeah. Don't recommend
I
it.
ad- I admire people like you. I have never thought I would. I've never looked at a restaurant and say, "Ooh, I'd like to do this for my life." But I'm so thankful for those people who do.
Well, here's the thing. This is the hot. Well, this is one of many highs you get from working in a restaurant. But like when you watch people eat the food that you made, like with your own hands, just it's a feeling you can't reproduce anywhere else. I don't know. It just makes you feel really good inside. So, and then they enjoy the food and you see the expression on their face. I don't think there's a feeling like that out there.
Oh my gosh, what an
Yeah.
awesome take on that.
So that's it. That's it. Also, I just got to say, it's a super high when you work a Friday night at a restaurant and then it's over with. It's just like, whoa, I'm
So
alive still.
what kind of food are you trained in?
French cooking is what I went to
Oh,
school for originally. However, I have a specialty in German cuisine. That's kind of like my jam. But
ooh,
most restaurants I've worked at, it's just been a whole mixed bag. I've worked as like a flat top cook where like you're doing stir fries and you're throwing the spatulas around and it's a show. And then I've worked for making pizzas, and a lot of times I work as a deep fry person, which is like the crappiest job there, but it's multitasking squared, and that tends to be a strength of mine. So that's usually what I end up doing. And I've worked as a dishwasher too. I've been to all
yep,
sections of a restaurant. I've been a bartender and a server, and being a server is horrible. And I think we should pay our servers more money.
yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think every high schooler should have to wait tables
Oh
and learn how to
yes,
deal with people,
oh yes, that's a humble
especially
pie.
mean people.
Oh, especially mean people.
Yep, that's how you learn to deal with people that you don't like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Well, I hope that the food service industry can continue going through all this stuff because I don't know how servers are going to survive in the future, but we'll have to see. Yeah.
Everything's changing, isn't it? It's definitely different. I would love to know what is. I know you're going to wrap this up. What is your favorite dish to cook? I know it's not an easy answer
Mm.
for a cook because they have so many different favorites.
Yeah, so many different. Well, right now my favorite thing is pizza. I used to make beer many years ago. I don't drink anymore, so I quit drinking and I quit making beer. But I was an award-winning brewer, and
Wow.
I really enjoy the fermentation process. So now I'm making pizza, and I'm very meticulous about the fermentation process. I'm obsessed with it, in fact, and like getting the chemical composition correct, so it's ideal for fermentation, is really exciting, and that's my favorite thing right now. But like I said, I have to say that my emphasis is in German cuisine, and I say that because it has a strong psychological connection. I think it's a home style type of cooking. It stems back a long time, a lot of tradition. I don't know how long the German tradition's been kicking around for. I want to say thousands of years, and a lot of that cuisine seems to be the same way because they have archaic methods. So I find German cooking very interesting. Yeah. So okay, well,
Cooking always unites people, doesn't it?
you know what? It totally does. And I was thinking about that exact thing today because I was walking through the city and I was seeing all these restaurants, and I'm like, there's people just surrounding these restaurants because they can't go inside because of COVID. They got to wait for their food or whatever. And I'm like, really? A restaurant is just a cooking apparatus and everyone's just surrounded by it. And the cooking apparatus is just shooting food off into people's mouths. And that's all it is. So, and that's how it should be. I feel like in ancient times in like Italy, there would have just been one oven for a whole village or a city or something, and everyone would just come and go around that oven. And I'm sure that the whole marketplace probably would have been built around ovens like that. It would have been a whole epicenter for a community to congregate around cooking apparatuses.
Well, that's actually the beginning of civilization.
There you go, because of
You
ovens.
know? Yep. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, no, you're amazing, Tessa, and thank you so much for doing the show today. It's not a lot. It's not an easy thing to come on camera and to go on like this. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for streaming. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you for the interview, and thank you for the evening. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed spending this time with you and getting to know you better, and I'm interested in getting to know you even better.
Well, now you know where to find me. I am on Twitch, so
I'll be happy to be a taste tester.
cool. Oh, a taste tester. Okay, challenge accepted.
We're neighbors after all.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not outside the realm of possibility. Okay, so that's cool. So thanks everybody who's been watching today, for participating. I'm gonna have Saul Citizens on the show next week, so that'll be really exciting. So stay tuned for that, and I'll move you guys off to Carbon Tales. Looks like they're doing Star Citizen. So thanks again, guys, and I hope everyone has a great week.
Good night.